Hey cats, Ed EDDBUD here. So many times in the comments I get asked by the viewers to name my best daily running shoe. The run-of-the-mill model, you know, every brand has got one. Which is the best pound for pound, gram for gram, the king of the daily shoe recommendations. Here it comes. I'm looking at a whole range of options today. I've raided the shoe collection, the Asics Novablast 4, the Saucony Ride 17, the Shure SM58 of running shoes, the Pegasus 40, the awesome Puma Velocity Nitro 3, the Supernova Rise from Adidas, cheap and cheerful, the Reebok FloatRide Energy 5, the Cloud Stratus 3, and even the New Balance Fuelcell Rebel 4. I kind of crunched all the numbers, taking into account the midsole stacks, the drop, the weight of the shoes, even looking at the width in the forefoot and the heel. Going to give you a quick review basically of each of these daily shoes. I've even got a bit of an extra one for you at the end, so stay tuned. Got to talk about the Novablast 4 first. Now the Novablast model is one that's really evolved since it was first launched back in 2020. That was a very squashy, cushioned beast, almost too unstable, I suppose, for some runners. I found the upper a little bit generous on the original, but they've really evolved this one. They've subtly changed it over time. It's certainly more nuanced now. It's a little bit lighter and a lot more breathable. They've replaced the original Flight Foam with Flight Foam Blast Plus. This is a slightly denser material with a little bit more response to it, but it's still very forgiving underfoot. The outsole too is vastly improved from that original version of the shoe. There's a lot more coverage now, and as such it ticks a lot more boxes for more runners. If you don't want to shell out for the Superblast from Asics, which is a fantastic shoe but it's very expensive, I think this one sits in just the right place at the right price, and it certainly is above many of these shoes in today's video in terms of performance too. It's light, reasonably priced, very versatile, the Asics Novablast 4. Hard to do a daily shoe video without talking about the Nike Pegasus 40. Like many other iterations of this shoe, it's a really good daily middle-of-the-road model, run-of-the-mill. And you can often pick these up on some deep discounts as well, which makes it a little bit more easy to stomach. I find this one a good versatile option, a little bit more responsive than something like the Novablast, though it is a touch heavier. I think those dual air units in this one kind of make it stand apart from a lot of other daily shoes. Not the bounciest, but it does have tons of longevity. The durability's there with that Nike React foam. Nike also has the secret weapon of the stretched waffle outsole here. One of the best out there. It makes it a very versatile model. The Pegasus is also one of those very easy to get hold of shoes. I could nip down the old Sports Direct and pick me up a new pair if I wanted them. It's kind of a master of none but a dabbler in lots of different session types, this one. A very usable shoe for the rotation. So a little bit heavier than the Novablast, but it is a touch cheaper as well. Stays true to the roots without being too outlandish. Literally run of the mill, the Pegasus 40. Coming in from Switzerland, this one, it's slightly more expensive at 150 smackaroonies, the Cloud Stratus 3. This one's right about on par with the Pegasus 40 in terms of weight, though much more costly, and it's a slightly different ride as well. It takes a little getting used to. Very cushioned, and I would suggest perhaps as versatile as the Pegasus. It's a more modern take on a daily running shoe here, using that Cloud Tech pod system, and there's a very breathable upper mesh to this one, padding in only the places you need it. I would suggest this is a slightly more capable long run shoe if you want to put some of those into your training. I think perhaps the introduction of the Pegasus 41 with some new foam might switch it up a little bit this year. I think with the Novablast 4 though, and the Pegasus being that bit cheaper than this model, it's for the stalwarts only. The price just may be too prohibitive for some people to give it a whirl. But I certainly think On are bridging the gap between themselves and some of the other more established running shoe brands. So definitely worth checking out. I found it very, very comfortable, almost plush on foot, and super breathable in the toe box. The Cloud Stratus 3. The old Adidas Supernova Rise. I really didn't like this shoe straight out of the box. It has grown on me though. I am enjoying this one a little bit more. Super soft underfoot, though we do have those slightly firmer foam rods here. Just wish they hadn't bothered to put those in. I think with the Puma-based midsole foam here though, it's worthy as a shout for a decent daily shoe. With many Adidas models, my experiences have kind of improved over time, I suppose. The Adios Pro 3, Boston 12, that just got better and better the more I used it, and I am finding the same thing with the Supernova Rise. The upper is really nice and refined, easy to get a good lockdown with this one, and Adidas pretty much always hit the spot in terms of traction on their outsoles. I think at 130 quid it's pretty much in the ballpark for a good daily shoe. A little bit more squash to this one, perhaps a touch more forgiving in terms of the foam than something like the Pegasus 40, though I still think the Novablast 4's got the edge over the Adidas model this time out. Maybe in a second iteration of this shoe they'll really nail it, so we'll just have to wait and see. The Supernova Rise from Adidas, worth checking out. If you're enjoying the video, please do hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and give this video a thumbs up like. Comment below as well with your thoughts on your favourite daily running shoes. Dankeschön. Over the last 3 years, Puma have really refined their daily running shoe lineup, the Velocity Nitro 3 releasing earlier this year. They've really made this one the jack of all trades. I really enjoy the midsole combo that we've got here. Is some of their Nitro stuff, and then on the bottom some of the Pro Foam. It's like an EVA blend, a little bit more durable, a little bit tougher, just to give you that longevity. You get a really nice large stack here and really nice stability in this model. Puma grip always on point, and it's soft enough here that you've still got some flexibility there. It doesn't feel too rugged and too rigid down there. This one's actually got one of the largest stacks in today's video. This one's coming in around about 38mm in my UK size 11. I think this and possibly the Novablast are two of the biggest ones, along with the Saucony Ride 17 that I'll talk about in a moment. I feel this is certainly one of the best if you look at weight, if you're looking at cushion, and you're looking at great usability across lots of different session types. They can pick up the pace a little bit, yet it still feels nice and plush and comfortable, which is exactly what you want in your daily shoe. Just ticks loads of boxes, this one, and a superb price as well. 110 quid at retail. You can often pick these up around about 89 here in the UK. Certainly in the running, the Puma Velocity Nitro 3. Cheaper still though is the FloatRide Energy 5 from Reebok. This one's got one of the lower stacks in today's video comparison, around about 35mm in my UK size 11, but Reebok isn't scrimping on the outsole rubber here, and you have a slightly more stable version of the FloatRide Energy than you've had before. The midsole softness here is about 28, which is spot on average, though it's still very, very soft. I did see a few people mentioning they thought this was quite firm and rigid, but I'm not entirely sure what they were doing. Maybe they'd put it in a freezer or something, because lots of people do that. Why you'd wear a shoe like this if you lived in a climate where it was freezing temperatures all the time, I do not know. At 85 quid here in the UK, it makes it one of the best value running shoes out there. Perhaps if you're starting out and you want something with some decent quality, you want the build to be there, the durability, the Reeboks are a really good option for that. Though in terms of performance, I do think the Puma Velocity Nitro 3 has a slight edge over this one. I love the profile of this shoe as well. A few people said they didn't like it, but I think it looks great. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, I'll always have a soft spot for Reebok in my heart. So, the FloatRide Energy 5. People wanted me to include the New Balance Fuelcell Rebel 4 in my comparison today. I mean, some people look at this as a daily model. I think I'll probably find it a little bit too compressive for that. Just seems to disappear under my foot. It's also got some of the widest dimensions in the video today. The forefoot and the heel are absolutely ginormous. I feel a bit like an elephant when I'm wearing these, I have to be honest. This shoe's also a touch more expensive than many of the others I'm going to feature today. Around about 140 quid here, and the upper's just absolutely huge. Perhaps if you've got a wider foot, you're a very voluminous footed runner, then the Rebel 4 could work out well for you. So squashy, it almost feels a bit like a negative drop to me. Quite an odd shoe. It doesn't really excel in any one thing for me, which I suppose is ideal if you're looking at a run-of-the-mill daily type shoe that will do almost anything. I think it will facilitate most runs, but it's certainly not my favourite, that's for sure. Nor is the design or the profile of the shoe. Just looks a bit odd, really. So the Rebel 4, I wouldn't really recommend it as a daily option. Not really sure what I recommend it for. Maybe some easy runs or something. kind of the last one up, really. I do have a bonus shoe I want to throw in there, the Saucony Ride 17. This one's about the same width in the forefoot and the heel as the Rebel, but it's coming in quite a bit heavier. We do have quite a lot more foam underfoot. The width granted here actually gives a really nice stable ride in the Ride 17. I mean, it should be if it's called the Ride 17, right? And I really like the use of that Power Run Plus insole as well. Certainly is quite a plush feeling shoe on foot, perhaps almost pushing it into that long run category. It's one of the taller midsole stack shoes in today's video, but also one of the heavier ones as well. I got about 333 grams in my UK size 11, so that's like 11.7 ounces. Only the on Cloud Stratus 3 is the same weight. I think the foam in this one is really resilient, doesn't seem to bottom out anytime. So if you're looking for a shoe that's pretty versatile, although you can also use it for those longer efforts, the Ride 17 could be right up your street. 3 standout shoes for me really in terms of my current daily collection. Gotta be the Novablast 4 from Asics. I keep coming back to this one. It's got that quite high cushioned feel without feeling mushy, improved outsole traction over the version 3, and all of this achieved with a very light and nimble kind of underfoot feel. Touch heavier is the Puma Velocity Nitro 3, but at that price you get so much shoe for your money. Lots of stack and lots of possible uses for this one. I love the profile too, especially the black and white version that Puma have got out there at the moment. This is one of the best out there at the moment if you're looking for a daily option. And last but by no means least, the Energy 5 from Reebok. If you're really strapped for the cash, you can pick these up sometimes around about 55 quid if you look hard enough. I think if you're starting out on your running journey, this could be an ideal option to get you into it. I think it's easy to opt for a really cheap Asics or Brooks from Sports Direct or something, but I think you're getting a much better shoe here for the cash in the Energy 5. Lovely cushion and top-notch traction too. Don't overlook this one in terms of the value. Wanted to talk about the Vomero 17 very quickly, bit of a bonus shoe. I do feel that this is a slightly overlooked model from Nike as a daily option. I absolutely love the Zoom X foam here we've got on the top layer of the midsole, and it's got some fantastic traction as well here. Really good grip across the whole of the footbed. It's a wee bit more expensive than the Pegasus though, it's far more nuanced. And I feel this is the future of Nike daily shoes really, the Vomero 17. So that's my daily running shoe rundown for you. My 3 recommendations at the end there. Let the viewers know what your recommendations for best daily shoe are down in the comments. Sort of a musical interlude for you today. On Andrew WK's album You're Not Alone, he's got some spoken word sections there to kind of boost the mood, really get your perspective going. One of the last ones is called Confusion and Clarity, where he's talking about not losing sight of the goals that we've got, the things we want to achieve, where we want to be, where we want to get to, the things that we have pure love and joy for, and that we should never ever let them go. Those are kind of like the life force, he calls it. And when you listen to this, it's actually all common sense really. If you can keep these thoughts in your mind about constantly moving towards your goals, regardless of how difficult it is, of how testing it is, of how trying it is, then it really does feel great when you eventually get to them. And that could just be getting through a day. That could be, getting to the end of the week when something interesting or exciting is going to happen, when you might see somebody like a friend or your family, or you might go and watch a football match, or just go for a walk in the park, maybe go and buy a coffee and just sit and be for a little while. I know there's a lot of people out there at the moment that are really struggling mentally. It's a battle, it's difficult, things are hard, but things will improve, things will get better. Gotta focus on the good things, those exciting things that get you through each day. Focus on the love that you have for people and the things, the activities. Try and focus on enjoying those good things that happen, and push those other things to the side. Remember, there's always people out there that can help you. Go and speak to them, tell them how you feel. Just sharing those things sometimes can make things an awful lot easier. Go and check it out. You're Not Alone by Andrew WK. It's a fantastic album. It'll really lift your spirits. Thanks for tuning in, people. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Hit that subscribe button. It's free of charge, don't you know? Give this video a thumbs up like, and also drop us a comment for the algorithm. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you